What are you doing?
I was going to show you my muscles.
He's taking me to the gun show.
You got tickets.
Hey, Jeff.
Wow.
Jeff,
Hey,
how was Halloween for you?
It had a blast. The weather was terrible. We had so many kids. I caught so much flack on here last year because apparently I spend a whole lot of money on Halloween. We have almost no candy left over. It was wild. How about you?
It was fine. More importantly, it is now Christmas time here. It is now Christmas time. Yeah. Now, look, here's the thing. I used to be one of those guys. I used to be one of them that was like, not till after the turkey is carved and I'm stuffed with the turkey do you do Christmas.
Still one.
And you know what? I call BS on that now. Because first of all, after COVID, you know what I learned during COVID? If it makes you happy, just do it. The world needs all the
makes you happy.
It could be, and Christmas stuff makes me happy.
That's good. If it makes you happy, it doesn't hurt anyone else, then fine, go ahead and do it. But you know what? Mariah Carey hurts.
No, you know what, Mariah? You know what hurts is Mariah Carey, the raw recording from the soundboard without any music or any effects put on her voice. That hurts. And I don't know I don't know what sound guy took that recording of her and put it out there, but he did her dirty. You don't do that as a sound guy. That is like betrayal number one. I hope he never works in the industry again. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Christmas or Halloween or all that. Anyway, here's the other thing I'll say. I would always try to wait until right after Thanksgiving to put up like the decorations, particularly outside. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's always the week it turns stupid cold.
Wow. See, that happened for us a while ago,
we're still warm right now, and so I'm getting it all done outside right now.
Can we be really clear, though? When you say stupid cold, what do you mean? Like 50?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe down in the 40s.
That's Fahrenheit. That's Fahrenheit for those of you. 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes.
Very nice.
No.
I wear shorts in 50-degree Fahrenheit weather.
But I tell you what, though, 50 degrees in Florida is different from 50 degrees up there.
Oh, okay.
It is a different 50 degrees. Anyway, we're not here to talk about all that. We're here to talk about Babylon 5. Get to the show. We're talking about the episode Epiphanies. Jeff, I actually really want to get into this one because I've got some thoughts. Yeah. I know you've got some thoughts. So you guys out there, you're about to see Jeff and I are doing a podcast. You're going to catch all the behind the scenes. You're going to catch all the bloopers. Jeff, we've had some good bloopers.
We've had some good ones.
Of our old shows. We've had some great bloopers. You're going to see all of the rabbit trails. You're going to see the runoffs. You're going to see everything. This, my friend, is how the lemonade is mixed. This is how the orange is squeezed. It's how the apple is sliced. Jeff, please hit that magic button and stop me from making more food references because I'm kind of hungry right now.
Trying to get to the end of the show. You said you're hungry. I'm in. Let's do this. They're one little level apart. Here we go.
You are valued and you are needed.
You will be emperor. I think you're about to go where everyone has gone before.
The year is 2023. The name of the podcast, Babylon 5, for the first time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I am the one who was.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I am the one who will be.
And we're watching Babylon 5 for the first time for you, the one who is.
Jeff and I are two veteran Star Trek podcasters watching Babylon 5 for the first time, searching for Star Trek-like messages that are being done in a uniquely Babylon 5 way.
And while this is not a podcast about Star Trek, those references are sure to make their way into our conversation. So we play the rule of 3. That means we get up to and no more than 3 references to Star Trek apiece.
That's it. 3. 1, 2, 3. No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
Hey, Brett.
Hey, Jeff.
We have a 5-star review.
Oh, yes.
This one's from Apple Podcasts, and Read the World 81 left the review. They say, a new perspective. I love this fresh perspective on one of my favorite shows. I look forward to the day when blind people around the world can listen to B5 with audio descriptions and enjoy it as much as you. 'Tis but a dream that I have. That's a good dream.
So I'm taking it that our reviewer here is blind and potentially blind, maybe. Talked about, I guess, doing the audio description as you're listening. Jeff, I don't know if you've ever listened to an audio description of a movie, like had that piece turned on.
I have.
My hat is off to anybody who, like, that's how they watch a movie, because I've tried it. I can't keep track of it all. Like it's like an amazing superpower, I think you guys have, or you just get used to it. I don't know, but it's amazing. But hey, listen, if that helps you watch this fantastic, fabulous show, then awesome. And yes, everybody should have that ability to do it.
Yeah, and in fact, we'll use our little soapbox right here to our massive Babylon 5 community. I don't know what this looks like, but if there's any pressure that we can put on, I don't even know who owns
WB.
Babylon 5.
It's WB.
Yeah.
I got to do it.
Well, this week.
Yeah. Right.
Who knows? Who knows what's coming? This is generally an evergreen show. So if someone else in the future, because I know it's going to take them a while, but hey, tweet, write a letter, do something. I think this is a fantastic cause to get behind. But in the meantime, we have another 5-star review.
Oh, yes.
Also from Apple Podcasts, this one's from Keisha Livingston. And Keisha says, great for Babylon 5 fans and truly not a Star Trek podcast. I'm an old Babylon 5 fan. Jeff and Brent bring back the memories of watching for the first time. They're two Star Trek podcasters, but if you aren't a Star Trek fan, don't let that turn you off. I grew up with The Next Generation on TV, but aside from that and the movies, I've seen very little Star Trek. I've never seen Deep Space Nine and only one episode of the original series, the Khan one. You, like me, might not get the Star Trek references they mention, but they limit it to 3 per host maximum each episode, and even when they do make them, the context will convey what they mean. I'm amazed at their deep insights as Babylon newbies and feel like an idiot that I never noticed how much Mass Effect is a Babylon 5 game after putting well over 500 hours into that series. If you're new to Babylon 5 or an old fan, you will love this podcast.
Keisha, thank you. Yes, you should watch more Star Trek. I would highly recommend it. This is not a Star Trek podcast, so that is the limit of which I'm going to say that.
And I'll just say, only 500 hours into the series, Keisha Livingston. Come on, you need to get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
Are they? Because Jeff, I'm looking at this thing. I'm looking down the barrel at this Mass Effect thing. You know, I've got a couple in, but I don't know. That's a lot of hours to put into a game.
I have over 1,000 hours just in the multiplayer.
Do you?
But I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think they've shut down those servers. Or if they have, I haven't been on them in a long time.
All right.
That was a long time ago.
All right. Well, you know, Jeff, along with our rule of 3 and getting to read these fantastic reviews that come through, thank you guys so much for all the reviews you guys send in. There's another game we like to play here at the show. There's lots of games. We like to play games, but the big game, the big game, this is the one I think we probably hear about this more often than any other thing that we do. And it's our predictions, where we predict next week's episode based on title alone, never having seen it before, never having tried to look at thumbnails, never reading descriptions that aren't really accurate anyway. And this is the part of the show where we look back at last week to see what we thought this week would be about based on the title alone, Epiphanies. Jeff, what did you think that this was going to be about, and how close were you?
Well, I thought that Earth Force was going to become a force once again, so kind of there. But I thought it was going to come about because like Ivanova was going to go back and check her voicemails and be like, "Oh shoot, I should probably call them back." Came across in a very different way, but on point with the Earth Force piece. How about you, Brent?
I was very specific with what I said with this particular episode. I said that basically what's going to happen is by the end of the season, our Earth Force friends are going to return to the service of Earth. Not necessarily that Babylon 5 would reunite with Earth. And this would be the episode that starts us down that path. I have no idea if I'm right or not. It kind of seems like maybe that might be where we're going. Possibly. I wonder, Jeff, is season 4 like a couple of mini arcs throughout the season? We're agreed that those first 6 episodes, that was like an arc. And
Yes,
I mean, very
totally.
clearly, even after watching this episode, it seems very much like there's a dividing line between last week and this week, right? Like,
Yeah, there's a moment, like you can see the baton get handed
Right,
off.
right.
Like,
like
next.
So what if like this is like the next 6 episodes or 7 episodes, and then like, is there a third one out there that we haven't got to yet? We don't know. But that was about as specific as I got. I'm going to give myself 0 credit for that because there just wasn't much to it, because that's all I really had. But Jeff, for those out there who have not watched this episode yet, or maybe they haven't seen it in a long time, or maybe they did watch it and they're still kind of scratching their head going, what the heck actually happened? I'm not really sure. Why don't you take a few minutes and tell us what really happened in this week's episode, Epiphanies?
Well, the war is over and Babylon 5 is celebrating. We've got fireworks and everybody's having a great time. A local reporter finds Sheridan and says, "You've brought together all these League worlds and driven out the Shadows and the Vorlons. What's next for you?" He looks right in the camera and he says, "I'm going to Disney Planet." But when he goes, he may have to do so without Garibaldi. You see, after staring at an early 90s indie alt-rock music video for a while, he resigns his position. He's going to find his own way. Maybe start a business, or maybe backpack across Europe like he and his buddies always talked about back in high school. Sheridan promotes Zach to head of security, and Garibaldi has some very encouraging words for him. As he's packing, G'Kar drops in to welcome Garibaldi back and to thank him for inadvertently setting up the situation where he was able to broker the freedom of his people. It's a touching moment with more powerful words spoken. Zach's really been hitting his stride lately. He's training up new security personnel and even goes toe-to-toe with Prime Minister Malari as he returns to Babylon 5 to lay low while the Centaurum figures out how to name the next emperor and while the fallout of his decision to free the Narns passes. In his absence, he and the Centaurum name Jokey McJoker Guy as the Regent Emperor. He might think it's mostly ceremonial, but he sure loves sitting on that throne. Also sitting in a hot seat is our buddy and our ally, Bester. Bester's getting some orders from some other Psychop guy. Apparently, the loss of the Shadows is disrupting a lot of President Clark's operations on Earth, so he's decided it's time to take Babylon 5 off the board. Permanently. There's a multi-phase plan that starts with propaganda and is followed by framing Babylon 5 for an attack on Earth forces. Because he's a solid ally and true to his word, Bester comes to the station to warn them. To thank him for his sacrifice, they house him in the brig, maybe, and bring in Lita Alexander to shield them from being probed or scanned. He insults her for being just a P5 and demands that she is arrested. Sheridan stands up for her, and she successfully blocks those scans, despite being just a P5. They have history from her time interning with the Psychops, and it's a pretty uncomfortable relationship between them. Bester shares the first phase of the plan, but holds off on the second until he gets something. He wants to go to Zaha Doom to find the technology that can save his lover, Carolyn, and maybe the other Psi Corps people that the Shadows had yanked for piloting their ships. Sheridan agrees to take him, so he shares that his group, Black Omega, the elite Psi Corps pilots, will destroy some Earth Force ships so it can be blamed on Babylon 5. By sharing this, he has damned his team to certain death. Levanova takes a wing of Starfuries out. They save the day. They destroy the Black Omega ships, and when the Earth Force teams thank them, they ask who they are, and they're shocked to hear that Babylon 5 might actually be the good guys. Sheridan and crew get on one of the White Stars. They head to the planet. As they arrive, they see a bunch of ships evacuating, heading away from the planet, and moments later, the entire planet explodes. Zahadum is no more. As they reel from the planet's destruction, Sheridan wonders who is evacuating from the planet. These are the allies, the dark minions that Morden talked about and that Londo referenced in War Without End. Despite having seen the destruction that these allies caused on Centauri Prime and having Londo literally tell him who they were back in WWE, Sheridan seems to somehow be clueless as to where they could possibly be going. Back on the station, Sheridan implies that Lita was responsible for Zahadum's destruction, being... What the... Sorry. Back on the station, Sheridan implies that Lita was responsible for Zahadum's destruction being triggered, and she theoretically agrees. He tells her to keep him in the loop moving forward. Also on the station, Bester visits his cryogenically frozen lover, where he shares that he has an ace in the hole that can really hurt Babylon 5. We end with the new Regent in his palatial bedroom, waking up. Seems, maybe he slept a little weird. He's got a little crick in his neck. So he goes to the mirror to try and work it out. But it's not just stiff and sore. The dude has a keeper on his shoulder. Brent, did you have any epiphanies while watching this one?
So, Jeff, I'm going to read you my exact quote I have written down here.
All right.
This is a weird episode.
It really is.
It's a weird episode. Things in this episode felt very disjointed to me. This episode to me very much feels like episode 1 of a new season. A lot of world building that they're trying to reestablish. It felt like they're trying to establish certain characters. There's new things going on with certain characters. They're putting people into place, even existing characters that we know, like, hey, we're going to put this guy on the throne as the regent over there, and we're going to move Londo back over to Babylon 5 and G'Kar's back to Babylon 5. And, we're just shuffling folks around. It had that sort of a feel to it. This episode did not seem to me to have like a single point or a thrust, like what was the episode about? It never really seemed to have that. It didn't coalesce. There was no like, here's the A plot and here's the B plot and here's what we're trying to do. I had a professor of mine once describe something similar to this using these words, and I think it works here. Instead of a cannon shot to the old sci-fi heart watching this episode, it was rather like somebody picking up a handful of pebbles and just sort of throwing them at you. It's like, here's this one little thing here, this one little thing here, this one little thing here, and this one little thing here. That doesn't mean this was a bad episode. I hear people out there, but no, this wasn't a bad episode. I think this is one that we're ultimately, in the course of this discussion, Jeff, gonna find it's a little hard to actually discuss out of context with the rest of the season because it doesn't feel complete to me. Like, imagine having a movie podcast about Lord of the Rings, but you only do one episode on every 15 minutes of the movie. Like, how are you going to discuss that 15 minutes outside of the context of what's about to happen? Like, it's just hard to do. You know what I mean? And it just feels incomplete, not bad, just incomplete. And I think it's understandably so, because I feel like we're entering in a new season of hyper serialization storytelling. How about you?
I kind of love what you said there about without the context of what's coming. The last thing I wrote here for my opening thought was, I'm going to withhold judgment though, since this is really episode 1 in this arc.
Yeah.
Like things are going to, this, like you said, clearly they're setting things up to move places. After last week, this was kind of jarring.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
Most series would have ended last week, right? We beat the big bads. Everything's great. We see hope for the future.
Mm-hmm.
We have an encouraging moment with kind of the two mains of the series, and that's it.
Yeah.
But we have more than a season and a half left to go. There's a lot more story to be told. But like I think I said it last week, but I think this is also like where things get tighter, smaller, maybe. Mm-hmm. Smaller on a galactic scale. But it was jarring because it's like it opened exactly how it should have opened. Yeah. A party, celebration, this is great, everybody's excited.
Space fireworks.
Space fireworks. Yeah. I'm sure there's someone out there who can tell me how that works. I don't think it's supposed to, but what do I know?
I think it's a guy named Nick Locarno. He can tell you exactly how all that works.
Yeah, it doesn't end well for one member of the squad, that's for sure. But I think one of the things I really liked about it though was how they celebrated, and then it just got right back into things. Like that's real life.
Yeah.
You don't get to end on the high note. There are more notes that follow. But I appreciate how you described it where it was like a lot of pebbles, because there were things that didn't line up for me in this one, and not even just in the episode, but in the context of Babylon 5. And again, don't hear me say this is bad. These are things that I'm observing now, and I have full confidence will work themselves out. But one, so we hate Bester again? Like out of nowhere? Last time we saw him, the enemy of my enemy, and we're buddies, and we're going to be great allies. Maybe they're just mad that he didn't show up for the final battle or something, but like, he's just bad guy out of nowhere. And still, he's just bad guy while he's coming to do the right thing. I'm sorry, I'm still on the Bester train. And then I feel like it did Sheridan pretty dirty, where he's just like, I wonder where they could be going. I have no idea where those dark allies and you saw them. Mm-hmm. Like Londo showed you what they did, told you they showed up almost like, hello, it's right. Did you just forget that? So I get this. This was supposed to pivot us back to Earth and the Earth stuff. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it might have tripped on that pivot a little bit, but I don't know that. That's not my judgment. That's just my initial thought watching this one.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, it's like we just stopped in the middle of the episode and we're like, okay, let's go record a podcast about it now. Cause it's just incomplete. Again, not bad. I bet once we see the rest of what's to come, everything here is fine. They're laying down those seeds for what's getting ready to happen. I think that's just what we're going to find. Could be wrong.
I'm hopeful as well. That's how I'm looking at it. It's jarring because we just got out of First Ones and Lorien and the Vorlons and all this stuff, and now boom, we're back to Earth Force and Bester and Carolyn and cryogenic freezing tank that is clearly just paint on a wall.
Right. So how do we do this, Jeff? We didn't even talk about this first. Like I'm at a loss for how to discuss this episode. I've got some stuff I want to make fun of the episode for because
let's start with that. Let's do that. Let's do that.
The decorations around the station, frankly, looked like they were installed by a bunch of big construction workers. Like somebody went to Party City, brought it back. It's like, hey guys, put the streamers up. And it was just a big bunch of dudes like, give me the staple gun. Like
they're in contract negotiations with the dock workers, and they're like, look, okay, fine, we'll give these new bennies, but we need you to decorate for the war thing. And they're like, well, you gotta get along to get along, right, or whatever.
Right. Okay. I want to talk about Bester and Lita just for a second.
Okay.
Was it just me, or did you pick up on the idea that there might have been a little more to their relationship back in Psychop days than just, hey, he was a mentor and he treated me mean? Well,
I have a feeling Bester's got a data crystal with some PNG and WMV files on it. That yeah. What? Hey, Bester, what's this data crystal we're helping you clean up? Oh, those are just my tax documents. Don't need to open that. Don't need to look at that. I have a feeling he has one of those for sure. Also, does Lita shop at IKEA? Like she even had like the blue and yellow bags.
Right. So speaking of Lita, and I got to talk about Zach here.
Oh yeah.
You know, my hands down was my favorite moment of the whole episode. It made
I hope
me
it's
laugh.
the same one I'm thinking.
Is it the one? Well, here, okay. We'll describe this in just a moment, but for our YouTube folks out there, I've got a special treat just for you.
Listen, later on, if you still need some help unpacking this stuff, you call me, okay? I'll bring pizza.
Thanks.
Zach totally checked her out, man.
Yeah.
Like, totally checked her out.
I'll tell you what I love about that though.
Hey.
Back in Voices of Authority, when we had Chicky on there, he did the same thing when she was looking at Sheridan's trophies and stuff. He totally is like, oh,
that's funny.
Some eye line right there, and it's just like
totally checked her out. He was like,
Kaneki, kick. My eyes are up here.
Right?
Kaneki, up here.
Right?
Wow. That whole scene that was great. I feel like, and I don't know Jeff Conaway. I don't know a lot about him. I know he had a pretty tragic end to his life, and I also understand that his life was longer because of his time on this show. Like this was I had heard a while ago in some comments, the great community out there knows my love for Zach and for Kaneki, and had talked about he struggled with addiction most of his life, and this was one of the high points in his life, was having this steady job. And part of it was JMS like kind of doing him a solid, you know, like, hey, I'm going to provide you some stability.
Kind of like what Garibaldi did for Zach. JMS did it for Jeff.
Yeah.
Right?
Right?
Yeah. That's
almost
cool.
the same thing. But I feel like you can't have Jeff Conaway as an actor and not have the Kaneki, or if you look at the stage, the Danny Zuko of Jeff Conaway show up, because hello, like here it is.
It's just who he is. So, you know, some actors have that one character that they play, and every character they play is some version of that same character. You know who else is like that? Denzel Washington. Yeah, I said it.
It's a hot take.
Yeah,
it's not wrong, but it's a hot take.
Jeff.
This is literally, but this Zach is literally Kaneki after he got out of community college and got a job. Like, got a job. Garibaldi took a chance on me. I worked hard, did my stuff, and
got a few promotions. And here he is. And he's kind of turning into a solid dude in his 40s.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly. And you know what? I got a lot of respect for a working man like that.
Totally.
You know, and I mean, and what did we see through, was it even last season? Season 2? I forget when we first started seeing Zach, but
season 2 is when we first started seeing
like
him.
The whole thing with the Ministry of Peace, and he's like, hey, for an extra $50 a week, who am I to say no? Huh?
Right?
You know,
just gotta wear this armband. What's the big deal?
He's just trying to put food on the table for his family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tons of respect for that. Jeff, I think the best way to really talk about this is maybe just to kind of go through the pieces of the episode, because I gotta be honest, there's some things about this episode I didn't get. I didn't understand. I was like, what are they talking about? What just happened? Now, you had the recap. You were able to go through and dig it apart much more than I was able to. I was going to watch this one a second, maybe even a third time, and I never had a chance. So I've only been able to do my first watch. So I may need you to just explain some stuff to me.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll do my best.
While we're talking about Zach, let's just talk about him. So we'll talk about Garibaldi in a moment, but Garibaldi resigns his post. Zach gets promoted, which is really cool. He hits on Lita, sets up a date with her because he finally catches a clue. But when he's in there talking to her, he's like, hey, listen, people are a little nervous around you because you were really close to the Vorlons, and they rumor is they modified you.
Yeah.
And they weren't wrong.
I loved that scene.
Yeah.
I loved it because any time, in my opinion, like on TV, we as the viewer, we always know more than the people on the screen. Well, not always, but often we know more of the story. And I love it when that gets called out. And this is one of those points where it's like, look, people are talking. This is what's going on. But what that is, that's the, you got some spinach right here. Like a good friend is going to tell you, you don't really, you're good. But a good friend's going to tell you when you got a booger hanging out of your nose or spinach in here, or they don't want you to go in there because like you smell funny or whatever. That's a good friend. What Zach did there was being a good friend to Lita. Yeah. It's just like, look, people do think you're weird. Like,
they're kind of nervous around you because turns out the Vorlon weren't that awesome.
Yeah. We know you did stuff, or we know they did stuff to you, and then they kind of killed a lot of people. So,
Jeff, we haven't talked about that. I'm sorry. Can we back up just a little bit? Because we've never really discussed this whole thing with the Vorlon. By the end, we're agreed they went bad. Like They just, stopped caring and said, we're going to go kill everybody in the process. But up until that moment, they were good, right?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Because I think we can go all the way back. They couldn't have been that good because someone tried to kill them on the very first episode, right? Episode 0. That was the whole premise. Somebody
tried to kill them?
I don't think so. Was it the Minbari person? No, they were trying to kill Sinclair. They solved that. I think it was a Minbari.
Somebody was trying to kill Sinclair and they accidentally got him.
Something like that. I think they just wanted to get Sinclair. Wow. The comments are literally on fire right now. I can barely remember the gathering. But
Jeff, come on, you're supposed to be the one who was. You remember all this stuff.
Yeah, I remember the Minbari assassin. I remember that. But also that might have been an insult. Okay, I'm just going to stop talking. I'm going to embarrass myself here pretty soon. But what we do know is they just blasted Deathwalker out of the air. Right. Boom, gone. They never really bothered to show up to the council meetings. People tell us they were there. I don't remember seeing Kosh at most of those meetings. Back at the end of the second season, when they're the Centauri are hurling asteroids at Narn, they filed paperwork to stop it. It took Sheridan standing up to getting his butt whooped by Kosh to get them to even go launch a single attack and even help out. I think I can look back and say they were aloof at best. I would struggle to have ever called them. In fact, we even talked about a couple weeks ago how the story that might have even just been last week. It was recently. We've seen a lot of really great TV here in the last couple of weeks. But some of what we saw of the Vorlons and what we learned last week doesn't really line up with what they taught us in The Shadow of Zahadum when they did the big reveal to Sheridan, because the Vorlons told their version of the story to the Minbari. So for thousands of years, I think they've been playing pretty not great. I think they just became blatantly bad here in this season. I don't know.
It's gonna be gonna be interesting when we do Babylon 5 for the second time to sort of track with those people. I mean, because there's the whole Jack the Ripper thing, which I remember then when that episode went out and people were all like, "So what do you think the Vorlons now? Huh? What do you think of the Vorlons now? Huh? They're gonna employ somebody like Jack the Ripper. What do you think?" I remember having that thought back then of like, okay, so apparently the Vorlons aren't all that they're cracked up to be.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd been looking for it at that point,
And we saw it with Kosh too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was an ass.
Just a jerk.
Yeah.
And so it's like, was Kosh 2 an ass, or was Kosh 1 just the softie? And if that's a softie, oof.
Honestly, you know what I think? I think Kosh 1 was the guy in charge. He was the leader.
Yeah?
Yeah. And
like Naranek was like that's the
he's
like,
the guy.
the title.
Yeah, like he may not have been like the overlord of all Vorlons, but he was like he had the in. He knew what was really happening out there. And some of these other Vorlons, like once he was out of the way, they're like, nope, we're gonna just kind of have our own way. We don't care anymore. This is the shadows. The shadows are now attacking us. This isn't funny anymore. It's time to just go be whatever. Because you could really say that it all happened because they went and killed Kosh.
Yeah.
And honestly, were the Vorlons, here's a question. Were the Vorlons just doing what most creatures do when they're threatened? I think about it. When humanity is faced with extinction, will we not do anything and everything possible to survive, including wipe out all threats to ourselves?
Kind of we've always done. Perceived and real.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Threats
so
perceived
isn't
and
that
real.
kind of what the Vorlon did when the shadows came and took one of their guys out, crossed the line?
Yeah, but I don't think they're the ones that crossed the line though. Going back to are they good or bad? Kosh agreeing to go take out the shadows was the Vorlons
Attacking
crossing the line.
Vorlon. Yeah, that's a point. That's a good point.
You know, Sheridan talked about there were rules of engagement. I didn't understand the rules of engagement. Now that I do understand, I know that we have to choose to not make a choice. But I think that Kosh 1 was trying to abide by the rules of engagement and for whatever reason let Sheridan sway him. It might have been not Sheridan, but you're right, all the other Vorlons, the Kosh 2s, 3s, and 47s that were out there trying to push him were like, we got to attack. This is our time. We're done. And he was the logjam. He was the dam stopping that from happening in between all that pressure of the Vorlons and then Sheridan standing up to him and just calling him out. He's like, fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Let's do it. And all of this happened because Kosh 1 caved to the pressure. So does that make him the bad guy?
I don't think
it does not.
Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, all right. So back to this. Sorry, I just realized we hadn't had that conversation of like, what did all that actually mean?
Well, and I think because as we're talking, I have other thoughts coming up, and I think as we work through the rest of this season, things are going to call back to some of the things that happened, and we're going to be revisiting that final extended conflict. I think we're going to be revisiting that more than once.
Fair enough. You want to talk about Garibaldi?
Yeah.
So he is he's basically the winter soldier, right?
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
I mean, he's had his brain messed with. He's had, and we've suspected this, like something's been off with him, right? He has some sort of keyword, some sort of like programming that was activated by the QR code that came through the mail.
And an AOL keyword is all it was sent. I'm sure that like that was, I don't even remember. I grew up in that time. I watched a lot of TV in that time, and that was an effect they used like in a lot of music videos. Like that must have been like, I am willing to bet even that like somebody, JMS and the crew watched that and they're just like, yeah, that's good. Nice job.
Right.
Nice job.
So here's my question. When Garibaldi walks into CNC or the command center, whatever, and resigns and goes through that whole process, was that whatever this new programming and personality is? Or was that Garibaldi with this thing suppressed and he doesn't even realize that that's under the surface? What do you think?
I don't think he even realizes at this point. I think he's being influenced.
Yeah.
Like I almost think, I don't think that it's a latent personality like Talia had.
Right.
But I almost think in terms like the way Talia described that was, it was watching, right? And was trying to influence and do these things through as they slept. Oh my God. Maybe it is
I was going to say
Talia thing.
This, we've already seen it once and it was from Psychor. And we know that Garibaldi was in Psychor. So if they have put something into Garibaldi that is similar to what Lita got, or I'm sorry, Talia got. Now here's the question, right? Remember when Talia went bad, the idea was the original personality is completely destroyed. Right? It's done. Does something of the host mind survive? Is
this is what
Garibaldi
happened.
done?
No,
Or-
no. I did not want to believe that it was Psychor. I wanted to believe that was a ruse of some kind and it was something else. But you said no. Take it at surface value. I think that's the right thing to do. It was Psychor. Let's track back. Talia activates the new personality, which is like a ×10 improvement to her, maybe even more, and then kills the other one, which is fine. They take her back. Psychor dissects her to learn how to do it. I get the sense Bester was personally involved
With Talia being dissected?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
It seems to be his thing,
Right.
And a thing Bester does: try again. Bester believes and understands that failure is just another step on the road to success.
Mm-hmm.
So he used that stuff he learned from Talia. They fine-tuned it. Now it's not so much that it's going to take over the personality, but more it can influence the actual personality. It's going to capitalize on that part that was kind of latent in her brain and make the subconscious push to the conscious so that Garibaldi just... So I don't think he's going to die, this death of personality. I think that he's just going to get influenced and make someone else is going to make his decisions.
The thing about his decisions, though, is he has a good point about everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's making
It's
a
brilliant.
good point. And if you and I didn't know that he had been compromised, we would have been like, okay, I guess it's just Garibaldi.
Mhm.
You know, like, oh, that's weird, but I get it. I understand.
The best way to tell a lie, the best way to incite unreasonable amounts of emotion is to make sure that whatever you're saying is a kernel of truth inside of it.
Yes.
So if we think about during the war here recently, and he was just Nancy McNaysayer all of the time, I think the program was trying to instill doubt in Sheridan, in the Babylon 5 forces and whatever, in a way that would negatively impact the outcome of the war. It kind of worked. I mean, it kind of made sense. You know, hey, I don't know what's worse, winning this war or losing it. Like, if we lose it, at least we're dead. If we win it, we have nowhere to go. Yeah, those are all true things. What he says here, I gave you my pound of flesh. Like, I gave you everything. I'm done. I'm out. I'm gonna go make.
I've got a business idea that I want to go try out. There's a lot of people out there that are willing to pay for this. I've got a certain set of skills. Let's roll. Let's go do it.
All makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think that whomever the handler is, you know, it's out there sending the messages or whatever.
What if it's Talia?
Really,
what if Talia didn't get dissected and it's Talia?
Right.
I don't think that's
That was
possible at all. But
No.
what if?
It'd be awesome. We get evil Talia and kind of evil Garibaldi as a team.
And we know that the two actors have divorced by this point. So bring them back
yeah.
together. Just let that X animosity seethe through the screen. Oh my gosh.
It's total Bret the Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels, late 90s, where like they're doing pot shots. Like, it's legit. It's real. You put that in the ring, you get that classic 60-minute Iron Man match at WrestleMania 12 that was so good because they're professionals.
They're both professionals and make that happen.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh. Yeah. So good.
That'd be so good. But yeah, so I think they're trying to sow discontent is the whole thing. I think ultimately what they're trying to do is get the people on Babylon 5 to no longer trust or believe in Sheridan. I think that's the game of whomever is controlling.
Is it Bureau 13? I mean, we haven't heard anything about them since that one episode down in the basement of San Francisco ruins.
If
Or
what
San
people
Diego
have
ruins,
said,
sorry.
right? Yeah. If what people have said and other people have rolled back and said isn't so true, but if it is true, nothing in Babylon 5 is stated, put on screen, and never revisited. So yeah, it's got to be Bureau 13.
Yeah.
Also, hasn't been mentioned at all. I'm willing to bet we will never hear about it again. If it's anybody, right? If it's anybody, it's Bester. I mean, who else is there in Psychor that we know anymore?
Well, apparently this new dude that rolls in who's giving Bester orders.
True, yeah.
Whoever that guy is. You want to talk about Bester? Let's talk about Bester. So Bester pops up on screen, and you said it in your recap, Jeff. And I think you and I texted each other just a little bit. We try not to talk about the show. We save those conversations for right now. But Bester's supposed to be an ally of Babylon 5.
Yep.
We last left him with my fight is your fight. What the hell is happening? Did we just forget that whole situation?
I think so. They're mean to him. He walks in. Yep, I'm sure you got quarters for me in the brig. It's fine. Like it's like nothing ever happened there.
He and Zach are just going back and forth because it's what was it? It was Zach and Londo, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And then it was Zach and Bester, and then it was Zach and Zach split, and then the Elvises came on.
The Elvises,
which by the way, I'm sorry, I should have said this earlier when we were talking about Zach. They picked up the writing for him too. There was a noticeable difference in how they wrote for Zach in this episode versus previous episodes. Like this promotion, I feel like this promotion is going to stick for more than just a couple of episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I my guess, and I have some stuff in the prediction for the next episode, but I think Garibaldi's, he's not out of the picture, but I don't think he's working for Babylon 5 again.
I don't think, and that doesn't necessarily mean he's off the show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's either going to be a new villain or maybe his business venture takes off.
I kind of hope he's a new villain, Jeff. I really do. When you take a guy who's a good guy, turn him into a villain, but you keep him in the show, it's what they should have done with Picard in TNG season 3. Just let him stay as the Borg for a season or two, and then you got to go get him and rescue him and bring him back. Let Riker be the freaking captain. Like, let those changes happen. Let Garibaldi go do whatever he's going to do and be the bad guy. You're itching to buzz me, so I'm going to filibuster the whole buzz right now.
Had to breathe. Fingers on the trigger. Gonna do it.
I could see you. You're like... You folks out there listening to the podcast of this, please go watch the YouTube video right there. This is about minute 46 on the YouTube video.
It's pretty fun.
Anyway,
but yeah,
so Bester. Bester comes on the station. They bring him into the deal. They bring Lita in to basically block the scan, and he's like, she's a P5. You're embarrassing yourself and her. And then Bester flips back and has a vision? Or was he scanning people?
I think he was trying to scan and she was blocking him.
Was she blocking him or was she turning around and re-scanning him? Because he like flipped his head back and was like, whoa, what the?
Yeah, I think it was like, not just blocking it, but throwing it back. The first time I watched that, I had the same thought. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to have some vision. He's going to see something. We're going to get
was there a crow on Ivanova's shoulder or something like that?
Right?
Like,
yeah. A call back to that piece or a call back to whatever. Wow. I am top notch for you right now, YouTube. Wow.
That's getting edited out of the podcast for Jeff later. He's like, I'm not keeping that in.
Yeah,
I'll make Brent look like an idiot, but I'm not going to look like an idiot.
Totally. This is embarrassing. But
so that is that where we're going to land on? He was scanning and he basically didn't get anything out of anybody until Lita turned around and was like, "Yo, pal, I'm going to slap you back." But she didn't say anything at that moment.
Nope.
Right? And hey, by the way, Bester comes in like, "Please, Captain, haven't we gone to this spot?" And he's like, "No, I don't trust you." And guess what? Bester scanned them anyway.
That's like as much as I want to, and I'm gonna stay mostly on Bester's side. As much as I'm there, I'm also like, really, you tried to scan it, but also maybe it was just a power play. Like maybe he wasn't even necessarily trying to scan them. He was just trying to swat her down, just to be like, one, she's a P5. You're humiliating yourself. Two, she should be arrested. She's a blip, and needs to come back. So I'm gonna flex. And I'm going to show her what's what. And then she's like, "Oh, no, you're not."
Right.
Ba-boom. So I'm going to land there that he wasn't scanning, that he was just trying to mess with Lita, and Lita flexed.
Okay. All right. Oh, and hey, listen, maybe that lends a little bit more to the idea of more of a relationship there than what
we're told.
Than what we're really told there. So
Bester, though, and this was a big key piece that I don't know they put too fine a point on, but he sacrificed some of his greatest team members, most skilled and talented team members, to be able to have a shot at getting the gear off Zahadum.
What are you talking about? This was I'm assuming you're talking about this monologue he had to Frozen Lady. And I, Jeff, for the life of me, could not follow what he was saying or what he was intimating. Can you break that whole piece down for me? Because like I'm so confused.
I love that you called it his monologue, because my note here is, wow, that is very high school monologue-y. So there were two main points that came out of that monologue on there. One was that we learned about Black Omega back in Ship of Tears, where he's got really elite pilots that work for him, and they're Psychor elites. They've got cool Starfuries with awesome paint on their ships and all kinds of stuff. So he took some of his most talented pilots, and these are people, if we remember, that Psychor is invested in, built up, Korra's mother, Korra's father, food, housing, the whole thing. He's trained up his pilots. They've got this elite team. He sent them to certain death. I am literally going to send you to go blow up these these Earth Force people. But I'm also going to tell better pilots and Ivanova and the Babylon 5 people that you're going to be there, and they're going to be waiting, and they're going to blow you up. I'm going to do that for the sole purpose of having something to leverage so that Sheridan will take me to Zahadum, and I can get some tech that can pull this stuff out of Carolyn's brain and make her whole and well again.
So his whole motivation, and this is about as basic as you get for sci-fi or not sci-fi, but you see this a lot in sci-fi, is he's trying to get his dead wife back.
That's
effectively. And in order to do that, he's got to go get this tech that he thinks might be on Zahadum. And in order to get there, he's got to have Sheridan go with him. And in order to get Sheridan on his side, he's going to betray this thing over here and betray his boys to go do that. That makes Bester a bad guy.
Yeah.
That's a bad guy right there.
That's a very, very bad guy thing to do. It's also a very, I don't know the word, bad guy romantic, right? Like the intent there is to reunite with the love of your life, right? Which is great. That's a fantastic motivation. You're willing to send people to their deaths to do it and risk, like, no matter what. So if they don't take the bait, if they say, no, we're not taking you to Zahadum, we don't care if they call us bad guys and pin an attack on us,
right,
then he's killing Earth Force personnel. So either way, he's murdering people for the shot at a shot to go find some stuff to maybe help his lover. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad guy stuff.
And so the whole thing that this is predicated on is Clark's plan to frame the people of Babylon 5 just to up his support back on Earth.
I don't know that it's so much about upping his support as it is about wiping Babylon 5 out.
Justifying his not even support, I guess, just justifying his impending attack, I guess. He's just trying to come up with a reason, and he's going to frame them for that reason. Jeff, that's an interesting piece, because this whole deal. Okay, let's talk about this plan as far as we know it. Because the dude comes in and he's talking to Bester at the beginning of the episode. President wants to take out Babylon 5, wants to take it offline, shut it down. He's got the ministry, he named them all. Ministry of Peace, Home Guard, now Psychor. Did he name anybody else?
I think he did, but they named quite a few.
Yeah. And he's got a master plan for all of them. We're not telling each other what you guys are all doing so that if somebody goes wrong, it's not going to screw everybody else up. This sounds very like terrorist cell organization, Yeah.
You know what you know and nothing else.
This is your resistance cell, maybe, so to speak. And you're going to you're going to go do it. And so Bester knows what he knows just on his side of it. So was it Bester's people who were supposed to go frame the Babylon 5 folks? And then he went and told the Babylon 5 folks so that they could go.
Yes. Yeah, his job was to set up Black Omega to blow up Earth Force to frame Babylon 5, but then he double-crossed that and went and told Babylon 5 that he was
Okay, so let's talk about bigger bad guy. We just blasted Bester for being a bad guy for what he's doing. Okay, let's take Clark and put him on that same pedestal. He's going to blow up his own people to frame other people to justify being able to go take them out.
Yeah. Wow, right?
Jeff, that does not sound like science fiction. That sounds like present fact to me.
Yeah. Kind of every day, right? Just look at the news.
And this is an evergreen show, and I'm pretty much sure even in 50 years from now, hello to the future. Unfortunately, it's probably still happening in your world then as well. And that sucks.
It does.
This is supposed to help us get past all that.
But it's interesting to me. What I think we can infer at this point is that Earth, so much of what Clark did, what Earth has been moving forward and doing, has been because they've got the shadows. They've had the shadows backing them.
Yep.
We can do whatever we want because we have superpowers behind us to blast stuff and go away. Shadows are no more. And so now, we can hold Babylon 5 at bay. They're worried with the shadows. They're handling them. It's whatever. And then, oh, shoot, they didn't handle them. Now we have to. And I can't just go blow them up because, it's a tourist stop for people. We saw that back in phase 2 of Franklin's Walkabout where people just go tour Babylon 5.
Yeah.
So they have to turn public sentiment against it.
I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised that travel back and forth to Babylon 5 hasn't already been forbidden from Earth.
Right? Yeah.
But when you think about it, okay, if you're going to do that, how much of a chunk does that really take out of Babylon 5's budget? How much of Babylon 5 is supported by tourism and trade back and forth to Earth? Because you still got the Drazi, you still got the Minbar, you still got the Centauri on some level. The Narn are going to be rebuilding their stuff, so okay, let's count them out. Okay, you don't have the Marcab anymore. Rip to the Marcab. But you got the dudes with the masks.
The Vree.
Yeah.
No, the Gaiam.
Sure, you got the Brakari or Brakiri.
Brakiri.
You've got
the Vree.
The Vree. You mentioned the Vree a second ago. I mean, you've got all these other alien races that are coming to and fro. So
and fro and to. But that was my impression of the Babylon Treaty was essentially, we don't have Earth funneling money to us anymore, so we need you to pony up for defense. So we're going to be kind of a community defense thing and open up again, start docking.
Because we need your docking fees.
Yeah, we need your docking fees. We need the trade that goes through. We need that stuff.
Yeah.
I've been under the impression that Earth isn't a key part of their economic viability.
But apparently it is. Or at least that's what they're telling us now. So,
or even if it's not economic viability, it's a stop on the way, so it's still there. They're making a little money off of it, but if nothing else, there's still that feeling of, we saw that with Garibaldi, who got the, he got the package, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing where they're going to break into the post office.
Yeah, but it's going to be a lot more now because prices increase due to whatever. And
they're having to black channel things and move it around, but it's still going back and forth. So, I mean, I guess cutting it off does that, but it was kind of shocking that wasn't already the case.
Yeah. All right. So Londo and G'Kar, I think these might be really the two last big pieces of this whole deal before we move on. G'Kar's getting his eye checked over, which, listen, his eye just got dug out from a socket. Let's actually go to the doctor and let the doctor check into things and make sure that I'm not going to, receive some sort of infection and die from it.
Yeah, that was good.
Good idea, right? By the way, this was probably the most doctoring that I've seen Franklin do that actually seemed legit being a doctor and not being creepy. And hey, I can fit you out with a new eye. Oh, that'd be great. It's not going to be as good because some of the nerve endings are awful. He's like, yeah, but anything's better than this.
Yeah, it was good. That was good Dr. Franklin doctoring.
Yeah.
I mean, many of us have experienced that or seen it on, hey, there's this experimental thing. We can give it a shot. There's these reasons, these risks. Let's go for it.
Yep.
Maybe not go for it, whatever. And G'Kar's like, yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it. It's just sad, though, that we know on the War Without End timeline that
He's still
prosthetic.
It's not going to work. Yeah, he still has the eye patch.
Yeah.
Or
maybe he gets it. It doesn't work, causes an infection. Like that'll be the swerve that we get partway through the story.
Right. So the whole thing with G'Kar and Garibaldi, you mentioned it in your deal. He comes in, he's all pissed off. He's like, yay, thanks. Because of what you did, it actually helped lead us to the Narn free people. That's one of those like pebbles. Like it just sort of happened. There really wasn't much to it, right? Like
it was literally we got to tie a bow on this whole thing. Like we had a whole episode where G'Kar went out looking for him and now he's back. So we should probably wrap that up.
Right. So you have that. And then you have this amazing line with G'Kar and Londo back on planet. And it really set what the Londo G'Kar relationship is going to be for the immediate future anyway, where he says, pray that we don't notice each other again. Yeah. Like after just working together, G'Kar's still like, you're dead to me.
Mm-hmm.
I may not kill you standing right here, but you're done. Now we also know from the future vision, more is going to happen. This isn't it, but this is where we are right now.
I loved that scene for a lot of reasons. First, there was the tease that G'Kar was going to walk away. So like, Londo's doing his haggling. He turns and he sees G'Kar. Then the camera goes off G'Kar onto just Londo. He pauses. So big surprise number one, he pauses and decides to turn back. Like, I thought that was a big step for Londo. Londo in the past would have just scurried away. But he turns and he looks back. And part of it was like, G'Kar's not going to be there. He's going to go. Like, we're going to play this out where they see and miss and see and miss. But nope. He's right there staring him down. But the piece of it that hit me the most, and this really got me on my second watch through, that was not far from where Londo bought G'Kar a drink in The Coming of Shadows.
Oh, good call. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, oh my God. Which is still, to me, like one of the biggest, if not the biggest gut punch scene in this series so far. Knowing that, and now here they are, where G'Kar was so excited he bought him a drink, and now he says, you pray that we never notice each other again. Oh, it's beautifully horrible.
Yes. Now, speaking of beautifully horrible, Londo. From the moment Londo set foot back on Babylon 5, here's my note. This is the Londo that I know and love. This is the Londo I want. He's happy. He's gregarious. He's no fool. He's calling out people for being mad at him, but he's got this witty repartee going back and forth. This is the Londo I like. This is the Londo that needs to remember how to dance and all this kind of stuff. However, to get us to this spot, Londo is effectively abandoning his post as prime minister. I understand, but that's not a good look.
No.
He's abandoning his post. Like, he's still the prime minister, but he's not, because now they appointed a regent to do his job for him.
Regent Emperor.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And this is just my ignorance living in the United States. I don't really understand how that works, where you have a monarch of some kind and then a prime minister. Like, I don't really understand the division of duties.
I think that's different in every culture. I think at least in England, and our England folks, please type in and let us know. I really don't mean to speak for you, but the way that I understand it with my Yankee mind over here is basically the prime minister is very much like the president over here, and the monarchy is just a figurehead at this point, you know. But the regent is the guy who's like acting as the emperor, but not actually being the emperor. Think, what's his name? Denethor in Lord of the Rings. Sean Bean's dad. Boromir and Faramir's dad, whatever his name was. He wasn't actually the steward. He was the steward. I'm sorry. He wasn't the king. But he had all the power of being the king. Just
when you see this at times where the majesty, the monarch, is 4 years old or whatever. So, the crown mother is the regent to the crown or whatever, or to the throne. But it was interesting as they were setting that regency up. One, again, not understanding their political structure, wasn't Jokey McJoker guy, wasn't he one of Cartagia's guys? And didn't Londo say, round up Cartagia's guys and get rid of them?
I think that Jokey McJokerson is
elected or something.
No. I think he's more or less like the butler at the White House. Like he'll serve through all the administrations. Like he's not anybody. Like, and I'm sorry, if you're the butler at the White House or the butler at the White House, you are definitely somebody. But as far as an elected position, somebody who's actually a mover or shaker, I don't get the feeling that's who he is. I think he's more of some sort of he's just there in that position and he continues to have that no matter who's in office. That's my impression. I could be wrong. But all of this, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said, man, so I loved how he made light of it when they're talking, we're going to name a regent. And he's like, oh, well, it's all just a bunch of pomp and whatever, until Londo's like, it's you.
He's like, really? What? And then he goes over, I think we're going to change the curtains.
Yeah. He was great. He was a lot of fun.
Dude, you are the Scarlet Pimpernel right here.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun seeing him in there. And it was too bad because I was looking for, as soon as they named him regent, I was looking forward to what would be the short spiral into complete madness, just where he goes from it's fun, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then do this, and then I'm going to kill this person, and you're all horrible. Oh, wait, you just elected a new emperor. But nope, that's not going to happen at all. I did not see this coming. Even knowing that the allies and dark minions were headed to Centauri Prime, I did not see this play.
With the thing.
With the keeper?
Listen, okay, we didn't say it back in War Without End, but I'm going to say it now. This little keeper makeup job on the side of the neck with the eyeball that's moving, this is awful. This looks low budget 1990s, best makeup effect I could get at the moment.
I have a cell phone. For those listening and not watching on YouTube, I have a cell phone holder held up to my neck, and I think it has a better look.
Yeah.
Than the keeper they use.
Listen, I think they were probably doing the best they had that they could back in the day. No fault of theirs, but we have said so often on this show how impressed we are by the special effects on Babylon 5. How impressed we are by the makeup. Particularly as it deals with G'Kar and being able to see the emotions through that makeup, particularly as it deals with that. This particular one, though,
not so much. David Warner would have thoughts about this one. You want me to act against that? I mean, this guy over here, sure. Yeah, I'll do that. But this?
Yeah, I can do the floating jellyfish phallus over here. But this little eyeball thing...
I am a professional. Right. I'm a professional.
Right. I have some integrity I have to uphold here. Okay, I guess I personally have two more notes then. I love the new launch sequence for the Starfuries.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's a new launch sequence or if that's just the launch sequence for Black Omega and we're never going to see it again. But I loved this new launch sequence. I thought it was so cool. And then to go back to the whole thing with where the Watchers came from. So we are to understand that when Bester and Sheridan and the crew blipped in over towards Zahadum and they saw everybody leaving, this was those Watcher guys and whoever else is out there. We don't know. We've heard of the allies and minions. We've never seen them outside of Morden, right? But this is supposed to be one of them. They're leaving and they blew up a whole damn planet.
Whole thing. It's a good thing the white stars are fast.
Yeah. They didn't just blow up the stuff on the surface of the planet. No. They blew up the planet.
Which was wild. I was thinking that too as they were like, get out of here. Go. Because what I know is a moon a moon blew up and it disrupted the Klingon Empire to a point that led to an alliance with the Federation. And that was a moon.
Yeah.
This was a whole planet. But I had a couple thoughts on that, the people escaping. So we know there's the little keeper things. Was Psychor or Earth in that group? Were they part of the Dark Allies of the Shadows?
I don't think so, but I think it is possible. Like if we found out one day that they were a part of it, it would not shock me in the least. I don't think that they were, though. Please don't answer that question. That's Jeff and I positing theories here.
But if there was a group of people on Zahadum looting that, what's going on with the Vorlon homeworld?
What's going on with Vorlon's space? Because remember, it wasn't just the Vorlon homeworld. If you entered Vorlon's space,
you were toast.
You were done. So what's going on in that space? Who's moving in? Because if the Vorlon are gone, that's now empty and there's a vacuum there. People are going to fill it out.
With very technologically advanced worlds. And just poor Jack the Ripper sitting on one of the planets going, what did I do now?
That's a great question. Like, what did the Vorlons leave behind? What kind of infrastructure in their worlds did they leave behind? Yeah. What's going on with the gases and the atmospheres and stuff out there? Like,
yeah.
You know, wow. Jeff, did you have anything else before we move on to the next piece?
I have a handful of other just big picture questions.
Okay.
One is Sheridan comes down on Lita and is like, I feel like you had something to do with that planet blowing up and the people evacuating. And she's like, theoretically, yeah, maybe. I think that theoretically, possibly, the Vorlons might have left some stuff in me that made some things kind of happen. So what else did they leave? Was it just self-destruct instructions for Zahadum? She goes into Vorlon space, does something go? So big question.
Does she become like the queen of Vorlon space if she goes in?
Right?
Oh, yeah. If the Shadows have minions and allies, do the Vorlons have minions and allies that are left over there?
I think if they do, it's like, well, yeah, over in Vorlon space.
Yeah.
Initially, I would say, well, yeah, the Minbari, right? Like Minbari are their allies, and they tried to get everybody else and literally blew that opportunity. But are there other ones hanging out back there?
But the Minbari have their own space.
Mm-hmm. So who's in the Vorlon space? Jack the Ripper and other serial killers?
I guess.
Back to Bester. Bester said the second thing that he wanted to get across in his talk with Carolyn in his monologue was that he has an ace in the hole that'll hurt Babylon 5. So what is his ace in the hole? And then my final question, the great scene between Garibaldi and Zach, we're going to talk about here in a minute. But a big part of that scene was Garibaldi handing these station lockdown codes to Garibaldi. Or Garibaldi handing the station lockdown codes to Zach. 1, what is Garibaldi doing with station lockdown codes in his quarters? And 2, did they change them or does he still have those codes? We shall see.
Do you change the locks when you move into a new house?
Yeah. It's one of the first things I do.
You know the other thing you should do when you move into a new house? Change all the toilet seats. Free advice. Free advice. Just really throwing it out there.
Advice.
Change the toilet seats. Jeff.
Brent.
I want to just acknowledge this episode today. I think more so than any other show we've ever done in the 3+ seasons of Babylon 5 for the first time. I described this episode, and I feel like that's what this podcast on the episode has been. Instead of being this big cannon shot to a heart, this has just been, all right, here's that one little thing, and then here's that little handful of pebbles, and here's that little handful of pebbles, and I don't know, let's just throw this up there and see what's going on, and all right, how about this over there? But Jeff, I think we've reached that part of the show where we do try to come back and see, was there a cannon shot in the heart of the sci-fi heart anyway? Does this have any deep moral message to it? Is it holding up a mirror to society? Do we get hope for the future out of it? Is it what the episode was really about? Does it deliver that message in its own uniquely Babylon 5 way? You, my friend, have the task of doing that this week. I apologize to you. You're going to be rating this episode on a scale of 0 to 5 Delta Furies to see how strong the message was and how Babylon 5 was it delivered. So, Jeff, what you got?
Well, you hit one of the big themes on the mirror to society, and that was both President Clark and then Bester, as we discussed. I just had President Clark down in my initial, but our conversation brought Bester in. But just that willingness to sacrifice other people to go kill other people and advance political aims. Holy crud. Like, that, so on the nose. But more enlightening and fun stuff that came out of this one. G'Kar's getting his eye looked at by Franklin. Right. And Franklin's like, dude, I heard they were going to like hand control the Narn over to you. Like, why wouldn't you take that? And G'Kar says, I'm going to read the whole quote because it's so good. I've seen what power does, and I have seen what power costs. The one is never equal to the other.
Right.
Oh, it's good. That was similar to the riff back in The Long Night when he said, I did not remove one dictator from the throne just to become a dictator myself. But like he's getting more into the how and the why. And so without diving into that one too much, because we've already talked through it, it's just such a powerful, and it's power in humility where G'Kar understands, one, that a single person cannot be the central point of all power. And nothing good comes from that. And two, having that humility to understand that, like, no one becomes president and is then like 4 or 8 years later, they're like, that was awesome. How do I do that more? I think about, you see pictures of all the presidents, and this is very United States centric, but I'm sure the same holds true for other national and world leaders. They have that picture the day they go into the office, and then they have that picture as they go out, and they age decades in those couple of years. It's a huge price to pay. Mm-hmm. And the amount of power you have, is it really worth it? It's an incredible statement on what people aspire to and what they actually get. It's actually a problem I call the popcorn problem. Okay. We've all gone into a movie theater. We've all smelled that fresh popped popcorn. Oh, it's magic, right? So good. You go, you pay $24.50 for the large bucket.
Yep.
You take that
because the medium bucket is $24.25.
Yeah, for just a quarter more, I can get you one that's this big, and you get a refill.
Yeah, might as well, right? Hey, by the way, another pro tip: always get that refill when you leave the movie theater and take that stuff home.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. I love it. Our local theater delivers on Uber Eats, so we can get movie theater popcorn for watching at home. Yeah, it's pretty great. But you get that big bucket of popcorn. It smells good. Mm-hmm. It's hot. And you get that first bite. You take it, and you're just like, oh, that's okay. Like, it tastes okay. It never, ever tastes and feels as good as it smells. And that's power. It smells and it looks so good. And then you get it. And you're like, oh, wow. I'm going to have to go to the dentist to clean all these holes and shells out of my teeth. Ugh, it's rough. So incredible commentary from G'Kar. Then we get this awesome sequence between Garibaldi and Zach, where Garibaldi's like, dude, I took a chance on you, right? I saw something in you. I gave you a chance, and look at you. You're doing awesome. We talked earlier about loving a hard-working person, right? Going, doing the work. That's my path, right? I never went to college. I was in the military. I left the military. I went to work. I worked really hard, been successful. Yes, a large amount of my success is due directly to the privilege that I bring to the table, but I work hard to execute as well. But it all starts with someone giving someone a chance. And Garibaldi did that for Zach. This really spoke to me because, as I've shared on the podcast before, part of my day job in the past, and for a very long time, was steering public policy around specific types of background checks. And one of the biggest ills we have as a society is judging a person's future behavior on their past behavior,
Yep.
specifically their past mistakes.
Yes.
It's awful. It's awful. A person does all sorts of great stuff and they do one bad thing in their life and we're never, ever going to let them shake that or whatever.
Yep.
Sinclair did that for Garibaldi. Garibaldi did that for Zach. And it's just such a, to me, and we talked about it, the writing for Zach, his performance and everything. Like, he's doing great. He's sharing and mentoring, new security people. He's going toe to toe with the prime minister. He's going to have some pizza with Lita. Well, he's going to bring a pizza to Lita. I doubt they'll be eating much of that. But it's great. And it's all because someone took a chance on somebody. I call the people watching, I call the people listening. Take a chance on somebody. Look at their whole totality of who they are, not just their couple of mistakes that they've made. If we were all rated on our worst mistake that we made in our lives, we'd all be pretty cruddy people, right? But we have more to our lives than that. And that's what we got to see in this episode. Brent has had a lot of great messaging in it that happened in little tiny pebbles that were thrown at us throughout the episode. So I mentioned 3 of them, between the mirror to everything, understanding power, and not judging people based only on their mistakes. And so 1 for each that I called out. I'm going to give this one 3 Delta Furies.
It's funny. Even you just sort of said it. Even your Delta Furies felt like pebbles, just a bunch of handfuls of pebbles. Hey, here's this sort of one thing over here, and here's this thing over here, and here's this thing over here, but nothing that was like, this
cohesive.
is what the episode was about. Again, it doesn't make this a bad episode. It just, I think it's take the entire first season of Babylon 5, boil it down into an episode. We're putting pieces into place before we start with the story. Maybe even next week's going to be a little bit more putting pieces in place. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a necessary episode.
Yeah.
But you said it doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad episode. So Brent, it's time to put your money where your mouth is, as we are creating the 100% completely accurate and definitive ranking of this season, as we have for the last 3. Currently in the top 5, we've got Into the Fire, The Long Night, Whatever Happened to Mr. Garibaldi, The Summoning, and The Hour of the Wolf. So Brent, where do you put Epiphanies?
Jeff, do you remember The Long Dark from season 2?
I try not to.
Do you remember Late Deliveries from Avalon from season 3?
I also try not to.
How we took those and we just said, we're going to mark those as 22 all the way down at the bottom and let everything else fill in between.
I sure do.
I'm not doing that with this episode.
It's good. I'm really glad to hear that.
However, this is going at the bottom of the list. So this is going to be episode number 7 in the ranking right now. This was probably the least enjoyable episode we've seen out of the season so far. I think it's just due to the nature of where the show is. Doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. Doesn't mean it was a bad episode. Was it better than any of the 6 we've gotten prior to this one? No, it was not.
I think I agree. It's tough again. Like, it's hard. It's just so hard to put my finger on this one. And this is one that we might look back at on a recap. I think of the Geometry of Shadows in season 2 that we were able to look back at and be like, oh, wow, we were unduly harsh on that episode the first time around. I could see this being one of those, but hold
on. We were not unduly harsh on Geometry of Shadows the first time around. We were perfectly harsh on the Geometry of Shadows the first time around. The second time around, at least because I did go back and rewatch it. Now I understand that episode. And when we do it Babylon 5 for the second time, we will be reasonably more positive on that episode. Although I still want Techno Mages back, Jeff. I'm still mad that we haven't gotten Techno Mages yet.
I agree.
Are Techno Mages the Vorlons' allies and minions that we haven't gotten yet?
Well, they went out beyond the rim, is what the Techno Mages were trying to do.
Sure.
They basically ascended before the Vorlons or Shadows did.
Yeah. I completely
honestly, I think about it.
Go ahead.
almost think about it in terms of like Walkabout and was it Shadow Dancing that we were pretty high on Walkabout when we first watched it. And then after Shadow Dancing and then on reflection, it's like, oh gosh, no, that didn't even need to happen because you actually did it better
over there.
You did it differently a second time. It would have been great if you did it this way. Maybe this will be that on reflection. We'll look back at
Comes the Inquisitor. Another episode that I still think, Jeff, we probably have enough now to be able to go back to that episode and rewatch it and see it differently now. Because that was the Jack the Ripper episode, right? Comes the Inquisitor, right? That was an episode that I was saying, I remember that one because I said that is that is Babylon 5's duet from Deep Space Nine, where when you come back and watch it later and you really can appreciate what's happening once you have the full context of where it's going. Yeah, I want to go back. I want to go back.
Now's the right time.
It's going to be, we'll do it with the Babylon 5 second time. But I'm actually excited for that episode. Go ahead.
I just think about how in War Without End, Delenn kept talking about the great sacrifices it took to maintain the peace. And we're like at the beginning of that. And so I think we saw Sheridan's big sacrifices that will tie back to Comes the Inquisitor. I don't know that we've seen Delenn's yet.
What were Sheridan's big sacrifices?
He died. Sheridan died.
But he came back.
Yeah. Is he back like good? Well, he's back with a shortened lifespan.
I mean, is this like Sheridan's back the same way Jon Snow came back? Sorry, spoiler alert. It's kind of the same, but not really.
That's kind of, I mean, that's what Garibaldi's saying.
He's got more of a coif. I mean, dude, his hair this season has been on point.
Every time.
Every episode.
Well, Brent, that's it for Epiphanies. Next week, we're going to be watching The Illusion of Truth for the first time. We've never seen these episodes before. We don't know what they're about. We haven't seen thumbnails or anything, and we love playing our prediction game where we know what it's called and we guess what the next episode is going to be about. Brent, what do you think The Illusion of Truth is going to be about?
I feel like this one has to get back to Sheridan and Delenn because this episode really wasn't Sheridan and Delenn at all. Like at all.
Had that one brief moment and that was it.
And then the moment with Garibaldi later with Sheridan, like that was in best. Like Sheridan was just a piece in this particular one. So I feel like we're going back to that. Let's hear Illusions of Truth. Is this an illusion with an I or an illusion with an A?
An illusion.
Okay, so like David Copperfield illusion. Illusions of Truth. This almost, I feel like, has to get back to the propaganda that President Clark is running against Babylon 5. The illusions of truth. What about you, Jeff?
I think we're going to get more into Garibaldi, right? We're going to get a little bit, going to get a little bit into his programming. We're going to see him starting his business. We're going to see him kind of like starting to establish himself as Citizen Garibaldi.
Is he going to base himself on Babylon 5, you think, or is he moving? Like, is he leaving our show? Like,
I think he's staying on the show.
Is he going back to Mars?
I don't know that Mars is a place people want to be right now. Last we heard, there's still like an active rebellion.
What happens if Garibaldi does go back to Mars? Does he get arrested? I mean, he's still a traitor or whatever and all that.
Unless he's got something to turn over. Like he'd have to have some bargaining chip.
Unless they know that they've had Garibaldi and they've pre-programmed him to do this.
And he's just coming back to the roost.
Yeah.
Buys a ticket to Mars, ends up in San Diego, right?
Underground, Bureau 13 with a weird psychop lady who's doing surgery on people.
It would make perfect sense. I think the illusion of truth part is going to come in, though, that he's going to be faced with things that regular Garibaldi is into, but programmed Garibaldi is not. So it's going to kind of create this psychological cognitive dissonance within him. And I'm thinking that's going to be like, I like how you brought up more of the propaganda piece. It's going to be something where the programming is pro-Earth, pro-Clark, but the Garibaldi isn't there yet. And so he's going to be wrestling with what is true. Is this propaganda true? Is what I believe is Michael Garibaldi true? I don't know what's true anymore. So we'll get more Garibaldi hitting walls and screaming and pumping soap out of his Daffy Duck soap dispenser.
You know what I noticed? I'm sorry. You know what I noticed in this episode for the first time? We've seen the Daffy Duck poster on the wall in his quarters. He also has this like Daffy Duck pennant, like on the other wall. Like another, it's like another Daffy Duck thing over there.
He's got all kinds of stuff.
Do you think he likes Daffy Duck because Daffy Duck is owned by the WB and so is Babylon 5? Like, and it was just easy to get the rights to it?
I think Michael Garibaldi actually prefers Donald Duck, but they were told, no, it's going to be this one. Well, we're going to find out all about the illusion of truth here next week. Thank you all so much for joining us. Please leave us a rating, leave us a review. We'll read it here on the podcast. And also, please take literally 31 seconds. Go hit the share button in your podcast app and share Babylon 5 for the first time with somebody who you know would enjoy it. Maybe they're watching Babylon 5 for the first time, or they're one of the longtime watchers who want to relive it again. Either way, share this with them. It'll mean the absolute world to us. Until next time.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, man, what's up?
Hey, you, I got some stuff I got to move. You want to go grab a pizza and maybe come help me move?
Maybe. What's on the pizza?
You know, just half pepperoni, half cheese.
Oh my God. In Valen's name.
I mean, we're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something.
You don't like pepperoni and cheese?
A little more to it than that. Come on. Do you have mod pizza out where you are?
I've never had it yet, but we've had a couple of them over here. Is it good?
I love
Is it legit?
Pizza.
Okay. Do you have your pie out there?
No.
Dude, if you're ever over this way, I'll take you over to your pie. It's good. It's good stuff.
One time I did a mod pizza run with my daughter, and I said, they go, what do you want on there? And I'm like, red sauce, mozzarella cheese. It's the Subway of pizza, right? And I'm like, and then pepperoni, and they grabbed a little handful of pepperoni. I'm like, I want like a criminal amount of pepperoni on there. I want people to question how much pepperoni you've put on this. And they did. Like it looked like the surface of Mars, right? Just this big red. It was great. It was so good.
So, little known Brent fact here. I used to run a pizza shop.
You did?
I did. I used to run a pizza shop. And one of the things I learned pretty early on is, and people aren't going to believe me when I say this, there is such a thing as too many toppings. Because it overloads your pizza. It actually destroys the integrity of the structure of it with the crust and all that sort of stuff. There really is a spot where you get too much. And there is a spot where there's too much cheese. Now, I know a lot of people, now most pizza places don't put that much cheese on their pizza because it's literally the most expensive thing that goes on your pizza. And that's what drives up the cost aside from corporate greed. But yeah.
Up in Seattle, not far from University of Washington, I'm curious, Nia, I know that you're watching, and so you're somewhat in the area, you might know, but there used to be this place called the North Lake Tavern. And the North Lake Tavern sold these pies that were just, seismically concerning with how big they were. But on the menu, they literally said, don't ask for anything extra. We can't put anything more on the pizza because they were just so loaded. I've literally drove to and from Seattle just to pick up a couple pies and bring them back. They're so good. That was years ago, but I love those pizzas. What if they're still open? That's a free plug.
There you go.
North Lake Tavern up in Seattle.
There you go.
If they're not, rest in pizza.
I would tell you the best pizza I've ever had.
Yeah.
I made myself. I made the dough. I made the flour. I took grains of wheat, ground them up, put the recipe together. I tried to copy John Schnatter. He's Papa John. I tried to copy his recipe as best I could. I got close. I got really close. But oh my gosh, it came out so fluffy's not the right word. I was going to say fluffy, but that's not the right word because dough's not supposed to be fluffy, but it was the bread was so good.
Flaky?
No, it had a lot of air in it, which is good. A lot of good cellular structure inside the dough. But oh my gosh, it was so good. And then just the sauce, the best sauce to use for pizza to me right now is this product called Raws, RAO apostrophe S. RAO apostrophe S. Raws, I think is how you say it, or Rouse, I don't know. But they're like, it's one of these products that like health food people go for because like it doesn't have weird crap in it. Like it's actually legit just sauce. I made my own sauce once and I didn't love it. I didn't have a right recipe for it yet, but I used theirs and it was really good. And yeah, they're so good. So good.
Sounds really good.
Yeah. Speaking of
Here
which,
I was going to say, but I have to hit one more pizza thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a Northwest thing or what, but we have these little pepperonis on a lot of ours, the ones that curl up.
Oh yeah.
Like, so you do it, it curls up and then it like turns into like a little grease
like a cup.
teacup.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you take it and sip the grease and then eat it's the best.
Do you folks out there do the weird thing where you take a napkin or a paper towel and like blot your pizza before eating it?
Some people do. Some people do that.
I haven't seen that a whole lot lately, but I remember in high school, with the square pizzas that you'd get in high school? Like I'd see people doing it to that. And then like through college and stuff, I'd see people doing it there. But after, I haven't seen it too much lately in my adult life, but yeah.
Yeah, I have thoughts on that. I don't do that. It's part of the experience, right? It's what you do.
It's the thing. Yeah. It is the thing. So fun fact, my daughter is a vegetarian.
Oh.
Except for pepperoni pizza. And that's the only way she'll eat it is pepperoni on pizza. She won't eat pepperoni, but she will eat a pepperoni pizza.
My daughter
the
tried
only
pulling.
meat she'll eat. Only.
She tried pulling that she was vegetarian, and literally her question was, can I still get my same pizza at Mod Pizza, which for her is salami, black olives, and pineapple? And I'm like, no, you if you're vegetarian, you can't.
Right.
Well, then I'll have that. Then I'll have that too. And I was like, well, and actually, she loves sushi. In fact, she and I had sushi tonight. I'm like, most of the sushi you can't do either. Yeah. And then she's like, oh, yeah, maybe I'm not gonna be vegetarian.
She's super picky,
Yeah.
She likes yogurt, she likes strawberries, she'll eat cereal, and then she eats like a lot of snack foods that I really don't want her eating, and then it's pizza. Like that's like we go to a restaurant, we've got to bring yogurt and applesauce with us.
Really?
Because she won't eat the menu, what's on the menu, like at all. She won't try it. She'll eat rice. Sometimes she'll eat just plain white rice with salt.
Oh,
a little salt on it. She'll eat white rice. So she's weird. I like, and she's almost 8 years old. No, she is 8 years old. She's 8 years old.
It's hard to keep track.
Right?
I know.
Right. They're all running. How old am I now?
It's so funny how like the kids are born. You're like, oh, they're 3 weeks and 4 days old, and now you're like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 or something.
She's right around there. Has she had her birthday yet this year? I don't know.
Right.
Been saying it anyway. She, I keep waiting for her to like grow out of it. Eat a chicken nugget. Fries. She'll eat fries.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like just eat something. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Go for that. Macaroni and cheese. She likes macaroni and cheese sometimes. Sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes she does. It's just so, nothing that's good outside of the yogurt and strawberries. Like for the longest time, that's all she would eat would be yogurt and strawberries.
Really?
We were like, hey, that's healthy. That and milk. Go for it.
I had a good friend who worked in the adult video entertainment industry for a very long time. And if you can get people to eat plain chicken breast and strawberries for every meal, that is a very common diet for performers in that industry.
That is a very common diet for people that are working out and people that are anyone who is concerned about physique.
Right? Okay, yeah.
Is just chicken breast and whatever.
Strawberries.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you get the chicken breast, that nice lean protein, all the good stuff there, and then strawberries cover pretty much the primary other nutrients you're needing, because strawberries are amazingly good for you.
Yeah.
More vitamin C than an orange.
Do they really?
So they do.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, the whole thing about oranges being the vitamin C thing is some myth that was propagated by like the Tang people or something.
Really?
I don't know if it was propagated by the Tang.
I think bananas are like that too. Like, bananas are all high in potassium, right? And they're actually not really that high. Like, there's other fruits and vegetables that are way higher in potassium.
So much more.
So much better for you than that. So
just somebody, probably the Chiquita people is my guess.
Yep. Some sort of marketing piece out there. And that's not saying you shouldn't eat a banana. Eat a banana. Good for you.
They're great. They're a really good food. They can help reduce cramps and stuff, muscle cramps.
Yes, because of the potassium.
Mm-hmm.
If you eat other things that are high in potassium, you don't need the banana.
Maybe it's the potassium and the sugar thing, because it gets sucked into your system.
No, you know what it is? I know this one. It's preventing cramps is a combination of potassium and salt. The thing is you get enough salt in the rest of your diet. You don't need to eat salt. What you need is the potassium. That's why they only talk about the potassium. But it's a combination of the potassium and the salt. At least so said my sports medicine training back when I was in high school with that one class I took that one time.
Yeah, it's probably still relevant. It's probably still good.
Listen, that's kind of stuff I don't think changes over years. Maybe it does. I don't know.
It just depends on who Chiquita's paying at the time.
Right. Jeff, I got a question. Were there any classes you ever took in high school, college, or whatever just because the teacher was hot?
No.
I did. That was my sports medicine class. Yes.
Really?
I was a senior in high school, and I had some dual enrollment classes, and I literally had all my classes. I needed like 3 electives just to round out the number of hours I had to take. And we had a new trainer come on staff for the football team. And she was 21 and smoking hot. And she was
I want to learn everything about sports medicine.
She was teaching this class. So I took 3 semesters of sports med 1, sports med 2, sports med 3. I could tape an ankle real good, dude. Jeff, I could tape an ankle. I could if we go out and there's somebody's injured, I can do.
Right on it.
I'm right there on it. It's been so long for me. I probably shouldn't be the guy doing it right now. But push come to shove, I can.
You're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There really weren't attractive teachers when I went to school. There was one, my sophomore English teacher, who was like, this is, oh my God. As I'm thinking, like, this is so objectifying and terrible, but it was like, well, if you're gonna, I was 15. So it's like
a 15-year-old male in the 1990s. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like, well, somebody here has to be attractive. It's gonna be you. And she was super cool. But we don't really have a lot of attractive teachers.
Well, I can't say that I did outside of this one. So, I liked a lot of my teachers. Just, I never got the teacher attraction.
You know what I run into now with my daughter, who's same age-ish of yours, is like going to the school, and I meet with her teachers, and I'm just like, you are a child. You're half my age, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to treat you, with respect and dignity, and you're doing a great job teaching my child and all that good stuff. But it's like, you're a kid.
So that I used to do an NFL show. This NFL show gave me and provided me at some point with media credentials, and so at some points full media credentials.
Yeah.
Which put me on the field, put me on the practice field, gave me permission to talk to the players, put me in the locker room, let me talk to players. These players were a third to half of my age. They were kids. Now, Jeff, you and I think, are both solidly in that Gen X generation.
Degeneration X,
yes, baby. That is us. And the one thing we just collectively usually can't stand are millennials. Sorry, millennials. We hated you. To be fair, millennials are getting a little older now, and they're kind of chilling out and becoming kind of cool. It's that next group after them that's really getting on my nerves right now. But overall, millennials are just like, good Lord, what is wrong with you people? Trying to figure out and watch and this isn't even like the ones that are close to me. I mean, I'm talking the young millennials, watching them making millions of dollars playing football and just, I remember talking to the coaches and they're like, this is a different group of kids and you got to teach them differently. You can't teach them the same that they used to when you were playing. Like, it's a different group and you got to adapt, or that's why coaches get older and can't win anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that their coaching is bad. It's not that their schemes are bad or people have out schemed them. It's they've failed to learn how to actually coach the next generation.
How to connect.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started teaching drums forever ago, I had a lot of struggle because the way I learned drums was with a guy who would hit your hand with a drumstick when you messed up. Okay. And when you really messed up, he'd put his cigarette out on either your hand or your shoulder. Some menthol. Yeah. But like I was learning instruments, right? I mean, I know people who learn piano and someone with a ruler would smack them. Like, there's a lot of physical negative reinforcement, and I learned really well, really fast. And then like I had to unlearn a lot of that to understand like, there are better ways to teach than abuse and aggression. But that's how you did it, right? And I remember playing sports as a kid. I mean, soccer I was in grade school and I remember getting shoved by my coach. It's like, that's not what you do, and shoving me back. And I'm not advocating for any of those. I'm just saying that's what we learned coming up, and a lot of coaches who have made incredible legacies and careers doing that. Like, literally on Friday they did that. They came into work on Monday and it's like, no, you don't.
Dude, Bobby Knight was a phenomenal coach. Yep. Awful human being.
Yeah.
Phenomenal coach. Could get the best out of his players. Mm-hmm. Man would throw chairs across the freaking court and was awful.
Yeah.
But he was a phenomenal coach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when I was getting cigarettes put out on my shoulder and my hands, we won high drums every competition. We were good. Yeah. But it was out of abject fear that we did it. But
yeah. But were your teachers actually teaching you though at the same time?
Oh yeah. Totally. Yeah. Yeah, there's still techniques and stuff I use. I remember the last year that I was taught by this one guy that's in marching band and was playing the tenors. So you got 4 little drums that you're playing on, and my stick cross technique that I still use on my drum kit, I learned from him. This little cheat thing that he taught was so good. So he taught really well. It's just that if you didn't do what he was teaching, just you learn to take a hit.
There you go. I'm probably should stop speaking before I get myself or my son in trouble right now. So anyway.
Well, I also feel like maybe our watchers could be billing us for some therapy right now.
Yeah.
Then he grabbed my drum and he shook it like this.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Club 65. This is probably the most Club 65 you've gotten in a very long time.
We've had a couple good 65s.
We had a couple good ones. Yeah. This is the after show. This is what podcasting is like, folks. Is this conversation happens for an hour before you press record, and then it happens for an hour after you stop.
Yep.
That's how it works. So anyway, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys for sticking around. Jeff, it is time to get out of here. I got to go to bed, man. And
I'm gonna go watch. I'm gonna go see The Illusion of Truth.
Well, you do that. Bye, guys.
See you, YouTube.